everyone, Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and I am so excited to be back. It's been a few days, but we are back, and I'm really excited about this project in particular, because we're going to be creating one of my favorite aesthetics, which is simplicity. You guys know by now, I'm definitely a less is more type of designer, and this wreath is definitely going to show that. So hands up if you're a fan of magnolias. I know lots of you guys are, and they're a huge thing down south. So we don't have the luxury and the beauty of having magnolias up here. We do have certain strains, the pink blooms, but it's nothing like those white ones with those beautiful velvety backsided and glossy leaves that you see in southern states. So as you come in, if you're watching the replay, do me a favor and let me know that you're tuning in later. In doing so, it helps me know, who comes back and watches my videos at a later point. It doesn't matter if it's a couple hours after, a couple days after. We even got comments today from my second video ever of some of you guys going back and watching my old videos saying, wow, Nick, look at your growth. Nick, you were so nervous and stuff like that. So always drop a comment when you come back later. So we're going to work in nothing but magnolias. So we have this 18-inch grapevine. Before I do anything, I want to add some glue sticks to my skillet. And that's a question we get asked a lot. How do you do it? And I just take glue sticks and chop them up. My glue is so dark right now, and I'm thinking maybe it's time to just replace it so it's a little bit cleaner. I mean, keep in mind, this glue skillet I've had for 6 months now, right? Longer than that, since we've been in the warehouse, which was the end of September. So we'll add some of these, and while we chit-chat, these will melt down. And since even though I just added those, we still have a little bit of room right there that I can come back in and dip my stems. So Alex is going to be sending a text and monitoring the chat tonight, so be sure to say hi to Alex. If you haven't texted me yet, make sure to do so. We have tons of things that we give away via text, lots of surprises that we don't even mention. If we come across some things that we want to throw in, we'll just send you guys a text. So the number for that is 978-396-9150. So I brought up like 10 to 12 of these. And these have the fully open magnolia bloom and the tighter bud with the velvety base of it. So these have an item number of MTF21446. And aren't those really pretty? What do you think? Hey Joe, nice to see you. So I think we'll actually start with these as opposed to, actually, that's a lie. Let's start with our magnolia. So item number of NF2004. These are $1.99 in our shop. And in case you guys missed it, I did post about it earlier, but I didn't send a text out. We got in all of our grapevines. So lots of you have been asking about grapevines, and we finally got them back in stock. We have 14-inch, 18-inch, both in oval as well as regular rounds. We also have these really cool wall baskets. And some of you guys weren't able to find the wall baskets because I didn't have wall basket in the title. So I've updated it. So if you type in wall basket at nicksseasonaldecor.com, it better show up. We also got in cornucopias. That's what I forgot earlier. Cornucopias. We have 6-inch and 10-inch, and the 10-inch are massive bird nests. So I did make a bird nest a few years back, and I placed it on my staircase. Maybe some of you guys will remember it. And we made that bird nest by hand. So it's pretty much the same size. So instead of making it by hand, we got them in stock. A lot easier. Just pulling apart each leaf, trying to distribute them to the best of my ability. And we're just placing them throughout. So not going super thick with these, spacing them out a few inches apart. And I'm also not trying to cover every nook and cranny of this grapevine. I know some designers out there make sure that they cover the entire grapevine. I never understood why, because grapevine's so beautiful to me. And having some peek through just adds a natural, realistic touch, right? All right. Snip these off. Hey, Lori. Open them up. And dip. So those glue sticks are already melting. And I think just having a magnolia base is really pretty as well. So you don't even have to have the blooms. You can just add the magnolia leaves. Okay. Aren't those pretty? Let's open up the last three I have on my table. That way we don't have to do each one individually. And I'm just cutting about 2.5 inches below the last leaf. That way we just have enough stem to insert. These stems aren't heavy at all. They're very lightweight. So it doesn't really require much stem to keep them in place. Thank you, Ruth. And thank you guys for the shares. You guys know that helps us reach other people. And my main goal with this is not to sell supplies, is not to, do anything like that. My main goal is to inspire you guys. So hopefully I've done a good job with that over the years. Place this one here. And to fluff them out, all I'm doing is I'm just bringing it from one side to the other. As simple as that. And these have the velvety backside. So at Christmas time in the wreath community, which opens up the end of next month, and then next month is tomorrow, which is crazy that it's already going to be March. I don't know, it's mind-boggling to me that it's already here, or will be here. Okay, here's two more. Snip these off. But yeah, we use these with a bell wreath we created a couple months ago, and an orange wreath where we took actual orange slices that I dried and placed them in a wreath. And then, you guys, a few weeks ago I went to Home Goods and I saw that they had orange slices. It was like $12 for a huge bag of them that were preserved. And I was like, that took me forever to dry those oranges. And by the time I used them, they still weren't even dry. And I could have just bought them. But that's okay. The smell of, not roasting, but baking oranges, oh my God, it's heavenly. So even if you just do that for the aroma. So who agrees with me? Doesn't that look beautiful all on its own? Normette got her text. Awesome. Right? Doesn't that look great? But we can't be done. All right, so now we can come back in with our florals. So the florals do have 3 individually wired magnolia leaves, but that's not going to be enough for me. So that's why we started with extra greenery. We'll just snip these off. And work them in. Let's break down a few at a time. Let's start with 3. Same process with these stems, you guys. I'm cutting them about 2.5 inches below the larger bloom, just enough to poke into the grapevine. And in doing so, you're not going to have those super long stems through the back. So the back of this wreath is going to be nice and clean. So you guys ask, how do I keep the back of my reeds clean, or how do I clean up the back of my reeds? And I know other designers out there have videos on it, but I don't think I've ever made a video on how to clean up the back of your reeds, because very rarely do I ever have to do it. And it's all about placement. Thank you, Lou. All right, let me move back a little bit. There we go. So I didn't even check if anybody else was live. I kind of just went live as soon as we finished date night. But I'm sure others are live right now as well. So I'm working these all in the same direction. Just dip. That glue is almost completely melted, and I keep my glue, as most of you know by now, at a medium to low temp. I don't like my glue to be too hot. So that's 4 magnolias so far. And I do want to place a few more on the outside, I think. So let's break down a few more. Snip. There we go. And fluff them open. Hey, Lynn. Oh, thank you. Looks amazing. Thank you, Dawn. So very simple. So this isn't a kit. I didn't feel like making a kit. Plus, I just ran downstairs 5 minutes ago and grabbed a few things. But we do have plenty of everything, which is nice. And our final one on the inside. Now I'll take a few more, maybe 3 more, and place them a little bit on the outside. And the reason I want to do that, you guys, is because I don't want these all to be facing upright in kind of a perfect circle. Because it's very hard to get that perfect circle. So by taking a few extras and placing them on the outside a little bit, it's going to deflect away from any imperfections. So even if we sat there and we placed these perfectly, personally, my eyes would still seek out any imperfection. So let's just kind of beat that all together by taking 3 and placing them a little bit more on the outside. And if you didn't want to place them on the outside, do the same thing on the inside. Just work them a little bit closer towards the middle. Take this one, we'll place it here. And our last one will be right there. Hey, Ellen. Yes, hands up if you love magnolias. So I took a little vote yesterday, or maybe a couple days ago, kind of midday, asking you guys what you think about me giving away the ribbons up here. Truth be told, I haven't even touched that wall in the longest time, or that rack. We have 3 racks up here that I haven't touched, and I don't think I'm going to use all of that. So if you guys want some free ribbon, let me know. Show of hands. Maybe I'll come back later on and choose a few of you guys. But the rest of you that win, we'll just choose you via text. So make sure you do that. Let's take our final one. I didn't want to work in an odd number or an even number around the outside, but it's not going to be that noticeable. And I think it'll look nice having tons of magnolias on this wreath. Do I want to work in more? What the heck? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Make sure they go into that grapevine so that they stay in place. Let me just hold it up. I think one more could go under this side right there. Yeah, something is special about magnolias. I love them personally. I think they always look great in anything, and they add a lot of substance. So not even the flowers. My favorite thing about the magnolias are the leaves. I mean, we use those so much. I feel like we haven't used them in a bit, so it's kind of nice to get back into using them. But we did use those so much over the years, and they've always looked great in everything we work them into. So we did a 101 on foliages in the wreath community, and I talked about using magnolia to kind of bulk up a design because the foliage is so thick, it's so broad, and it does a great job of adding a little bit of weight. So oftentimes you hear me talk about the lightness of a wreath or the airiness of a wreath, but it's still important to have a little bit of bulk or else you're just kind of relying on nothing. So now what I'm doing is I'm just straightening out those leaves, making sure that we have enough foliage, which we clearly do. Making sure it's well rounded in the middle. Pull this leaf out, pull this leaf out. And every leaf is individually wired, so they'll stay exactly where you place them. What do you think? You guys like it? So before we headed out for the night, I wanted to make sure I gave you guys a quick, simple tutorial, because I have missed you guys. It's been a few days since we've been live, and I think this was the perfect tutorial. Very simple, and if you were to spend money on this wreath at like Pier 1 Imports or any other store which carries magnolia wreaths, they're like $150 and up. Whereas this one, yes, we used a lot of magnolias, but we also used a lot of inexpensive foliage to bulk up the design. So it looks like there's more than there actually is. Pretty, right? Oh, thank you for the hearts. Sherry loves it. Thank you, Sherry. Let's see. All right. Let's make a bow. Keep in mind, this bow is not for this wreath, but actually, wait a sec. Wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec. Don't go anywhere. If you did want to add a bow to this wreath, that is the ribbon. This is the way to go, right? So let's do a quick bow together and add it, and you guys can let me know whether you think a bow is necessary or whether you think it's not necessary. So we'll do 2 loops that are about 4.5 inches. Then we'll just come back in with an even smaller button loop, about 2 inches. Cut 2 medium length tails. Grab a pipe cleaner. We are running low on beige pipe cleaners, so we probably have enough to last us a week with our orders. So make sure that if you're interested in pipe cleaners, you snag them. We'll get some more in, but time can only tell when that's going to be. And I'm going to place that between the magnolias. I'll just tie it. And look, you guys, look at the back of that wreath. How clean is that? So I'm just tying this temporarily. But that's how wreaths should look like on the back. See how nice and clean? So angle those stems in and you won't have to be concerned about cleaning up the backs. The best tip I learned in floral school, and it's something that, in all honesty, I'll give myself credit where credit's due. It's something that I've always put into effect with my designing. Good mechanics will really take you far. So by starting off on the right track, making sure that those stems are angled parallel with the grapevine so that they're not sticking out the back, you form that habit, and over time, it just becomes second nature. And it's not even a concern. It's not even something you think about. It always throws me off when people are like, how do you clean up the back of your wreaths? Because I have to think about it. I'm like, what do you mean? Of course, that's not true for every design, but I'd say 99.9% of the designs that we have or that we create don't require it. So what do you think? Yay or nay on the bow? My feelings won't be hurt. You guys know I love simple wreaths without bows. But I want you guys to let me know. But if I was to choose a ribbon, that ribbon looks really nice in my eyes. Those grapevine wreaths are so clean. Hobby Lobbies are terrible. So you can actually get these clean grapevines from us. We have them at nicksseasonaldecor.com. Of course, we are a little bit more than Hobby Lobby. I think Hobby Lobby is $5.99, whereas we are $6.99. But this batch that came in is exceptionally clean. So this grapevine and the one that I used earlier today, actually all 3 I used today, are from our older ones. And those, we have a pile of kind of misfits. The misfit toys from that Santa movie, that's kind of like how we have our grapevines. So if they're not up to our standards, we don't sell them, and I just use them for our projects, and it's a great reference point, because if I can make it work, you can make it work. No grapevine's a bad grapevine. But these ones were in that batch, so these aren't even the new ones. But the new ones we got in are nice. So again, nicksseasonaldecor.com. Get your magnolias, get your magnolia leaves, get your grapevines. We have cornucopias, our twig and pole reeds, which are the wall basket ones. We only have like 14 left at this point. So I'm probably going to pull 2 of them for me because I haven't pulled any for myself yet. And then whatever's left is left. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the hearts and the stars and the shares and all of that good stuff. You guys mean the world to me, and I enjoy spending as much time with you as possible. It's definitely very two-sided because I enjoy it just as much as you do. So hopefully this tutorial showed you guys something. And don't be afraid to just be simple. Keep it simple. Something like this caters to a huge demographic, and they're really trendy magnolia reeds. So thank you guys again. Love you all. You can purchase our completed designs in our Etsy shop. You can follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Pinterest and our website. Wreath Community opens up March 31st for 3 or 4 days, and then we close again until fall. So keep that in mind. You can learn more at wreathcommunity.com. So love you guys. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.